What's good?
So hold on real quick. Hold on.
Okay, I see it.
For sure, you got it coming up. You see it coming up.
I see live on YouTube right there on the top.
Yeah, for sure. Let me mute this shit over here so it don't be bouncing back because it be man. Hold on one second. What up with you, Eiht?
What's cracking?
Oh man, shoot, man, same old thing, bro. Just trying to get this stuff going, man, so I don't be over here looking like, cause you know, it'll be a little delay on there.
That's right.
Trying to get it together, man. What's happening with you though?
Shit, man, just chilling, at the crib, posted up, doing what it do.
For sure, man. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, man. I saw you just dropped a new album and everything.
Yeah, man, I got this album out called Official, dropped it, a little bit ago. Just trying to do my thing on the independent scale, so independent black business, whatever you want to call it. Official, 27 tracks, double album, just trying to keep some feel good music cracking right now, you know what I'm saying, in the midst of what everything is going on, in the unfortunate times that we have. And so just some good feel good music, man, that I just try to put out to the public.
Man, so let me ask you this, bro. What you think is like as far as everything that's going on right now, man? What's your take on the present like situation? We tried to get you in the studio. We had Fat Boy on the Gangsta Chronicles last night, and we was trying to get you up there with us, but the traffic was so messed up. They had half of Sunset Boulevard blocked off and everything, so it ain't no way you'd have been able to get up there, man. What's your take on everything, man?
Man, it's just an unfortunate situation that, we just seeing times evolve like they always have. We've been going through police brutality and we've been going through harassments and all that. Being a young cat growing up in the hood, that was a daily thing. Being black and having to deal with the racial profiling as far as the police was concerned. So it's unfortunate that we still in times where, unfortunate brothers is losing their lives too, and like you said, we don't want to say all cops is messed up, but pretty much the ones that we have encountered, like I said, growing up in places like Compton, Watts, Long Beach, whatever, the ones that we have encountered, it has always been a 90% negative situation. You get me? So it's unfortunate that we have to keep going through the backlash and the situations with the police to where now people are, unfortunate that my man Floyd had to lose his life for people to really open up their eyes to see what's really been going on for a long time, man. You get me?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You know what? I was talking to my son right now. I was telling him, I said, man, it seems like that this is just a reoccurring thing, back from our day, we had the whole Rodney King incident, right?
Exactly.
And and it's almost like a feeling of deja vu almost. It's like, man, again, I thought we was past this, you know what I mean?
But like you said, it's just that time repeating itself, especially with the situation of brutality towards the minorities. You know what I'm saying? We went through it with Rodney King. They going through it now with Floyd and a lot of other black men and women who have been, slaughtered by the police. They went through it in the 60s with the Watts riots. It's just the transition of what we've been having to see since we were brought over here. You know what I'm saying? We've been going through this police brutality in that mind state forever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I said, unfortunately, my boy had to lose his life for everybody to really open their eyes this time and recognize that, enough is enough.
Yeah, man, because, it's a worldwide thing. Let me give a shout out, man, everybody in the chat room. I'm going to try to get everybody. The homie RIP Ryder, Brent Johnson, Tower Black, Shanae A, Reno Naranjo. If I say your name wrong, don't be mad at me. Tawal Black, Loud Green, Thea B, RP Ryder, ain't that Ryder was your character on the game, huh?
AWAC. On the game, my character was Ryder. Yeah, on GTA.
Yeah, he's got a recipe Ryder, Brink Johnson, Eddie Allen, Dominique Mayweather, D. Will, everybody, big ups to y'all. I'm gonna get to all of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Brink Johnson, King on there, man, Lisa McNeil, Reno Naranjo, Big Ready, you know what I'm saying? What's up with y'all? We gonna get to some questions. Once we get finished with the interview, we go actually get to some questions. So get y'all questions and everything together. But hey, you know, so tell me, bro, you've been in the game for a long time now, man, and it's like I see you, man, as one of like a street reporter almost. When you
Right.
was writing your music and you getting these albums together, man, and stuff like this, like what's your inspiration, man?
My inspiration is to write songs. Is basically, I get my inspiration from reminiscing on past, on past mistakes, and I get my inspiration from stuff like this. I get my inspiration from seeing young cats who still in the struggle, and everybody don't have that silver spoon in their mouth, and there's still cats out here punching the clock to 9 to 5. We still living in poverty, police brutality, and all that. So that's where I get my inspiration to write songs, because everything's not glitz and glamour, and somebody have to be able to tell the tales from the hood in that form of not trying to lead you down the path of negativity, but I'm inspired by what I see in the streets. That's where I get my inspiration from.
Sure, man. You've been doing it a long time, man. And what's crazy was, man, like I said, we had Fat Boy in the studio tonight. That's my young homie, man, Lil Young Mogul. He got a lot of stuff shaking, man. I like seeing our younger brothers, man, elevate and do the things that they do, you know what I mean? Because this is a kid, 3 years ago, man, that was working. I think he said he was working at Chipotle.
Right.
Got fired, and if he wouldn't have got fired from that job at Chipotle, we wouldn't have no Fat Boy right now. It kind of forced him, man. I see him getting up there, and I just remember, man, the glimmer in his eyes when I told him, I said, man, I'm gonna have MC Eiht come through. He was just so excited, man. So it just really, it's amazing, man, how your music resonates. You telling these hardcore West Coast stories and how it resonates back east and all over the world. Do you think that, why do you think your music resonates the way it does, man?
I mean, because I try to speak from the mind state of, like I say once again, I try to speak from the side of the modern motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I try to speak in the aspect of the single mom with the kids. I try to speak in the aspect of the homie who's growing up in the hood who think he has no way out and no inspiration for what comes next. So I think me being able to connect with them type of people and fans, and still, be in a still situation where you can see that I'm just like you. I'm no different. You get me? So I think that's why I'm able to gravitate to the fans, and I'm able to have the longevity and able to continue to do what I do, because I try to not think of myself outside of the box or different than any other or the modern motherfucker. I'm just like you. So I try to make songs for us. You feel me?
Well, that's the thing, man, and you've always been, because I know a whole lot of rappers, man, right? I know a whole bunch of these guys. Most of them is cool guys, but I notice it seems like they in character sometimes. When we sit and kicking it, they one way, and it's like when the camera come on, they kind of, you know what I mean? But you the same dude, whether I'm talking to you at a football game or whether we're doing an interview, man. And I think that's what resonates with the people, man. You are like a man of the people. It's like you the regular dude, you the homie in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that gets you, not that you trying to get, points from that, but it's always best to remain true and stay true to what you know and what got you there. And I'm a strong believer in that. The fans are the ones who put me in this position, because I'm able to tell them stories of what I saw growing up as a youth, or what I see every day as far as poverty and, like I said, police brutality, and just growing up as a black dude or whatever you are, SA, you know, black, Chinese, whatever. If you're going through the situation of you living in poverty and you're a man and you're trying to make it go, or you a sister and you got kids and mouths to feed, you know, everything ain't that glory road sometimes. So me being able to connect and still being able to, you know, have that heart enough to speak about that instead of just talking about money and fancy cars and what we drink in a day and how many hoes we got. You know, I just try to speak on the people's aspect of I'm in the same struggle as you is. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's the thing, and it's the same struggle, man, that we going through all around the world, man. And that's what I've been doing, man. I've been touching up with the homies lately. You know, the rappers that's my friends. People I actually know, man, to see how they feel about this stuff, man, because like I do believe, man, that we go look back on this, man, in history and say this was a pivotal time in Black America right now, because I can't say it's the, like people are fed up now. And it's all around the world now. I looked and saw that, man, in London, they was out there protesting, you know, just all around the world, man. It's just not a USA phenomenon, you know. And once I saw they were protesting, you know, in Minnesota, I knew they was gonna do that. But once I saw the brothers in New York kind of start putting their boots to the ground and all these brothers around the country, I thought it was a powerful thing, man. I was just really hoping, man, that I said, you know what, let's really protest. Let's not make this as an opportunity to come up right now. This ain't the come up opportunity. This is the time to really make a statement to let them know, like, we not having it. We need reform more than anything else. And I think this is the quickest that they don't ever arrested the officer, man. Because that dude was in jail 3 days later. And now you got his other 3 partners in jail. And you being a dude that was around during the 92 riots, that's when your music was really just starting to kind of kick off, man. What's the difference, man? 'Cause we got a lot of young people. What's the difference between now and back then, man, when the stuff happened with the brother Rodney King to you?
I mean, as far as the situations with that, I mean, not too much has changed as far as the times that I was living in to police brutality or racial profiling to now. I mean, you can still get pulled over if you in the neighborhood, profiled because of where you at and what section. So only thing about it is now a lot of stuff is able to be put on blast, so to speak. You feel me? Back then, we didn't have a lot of dudes running around with cameras and shit who can film all the negative energy with the police, you know. So now in this generation of phones and networks and social media, you know, it's way faster that information can get out and get across to motherfuckers when dealing with that situation. So the times have changed. You get me? You can't sweep shit under the rug no more. And that's the difference from when, you know, it happened to Rodney King, as so to speak, into now. You get me? Back then they got off. You know, they charged the dudes or whatever, and they went back and arrested the other 3. You know, with Rodney King, you know, everybody got off except I think one on some bullshit. But whatever the fact that was, it still let us know that we weren't in control of what was happening because it was still happening and cops walked away from it. And in this same situation now, in this modern times, you know, it's able to be put in motherfuckers' faces and put on blast to where they can't deny it or hide it. So you got to step up or shut up. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's the difference nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm looking at, like I really look at what our young people say. Like, there's one of the homies over on the chat room. He just said, "I feel like they're using this." Is the homie Byron Bird? I feel like they're using this social media to spark our emotions. Some of this stuff is staged just to get us fired up. I agree with him 100% because I had one of the homies, man, that had to be out. He was out the other day filming this stuff, and he saw some cats, man, some white cats in a big dually pull up on his sister's store and just start throwing bricks and stuff to the window. So he went over there and helped her out, man. And I noticed that it's a lot of these folks, man, they look the same, but they're in different places. They got these black clothes on, man. They got the black mask on, the gas mask on, and they knocking windows, you know, walking around just with a hammer, just real nonchalant, knocking windows down, gathering the homies up, telling them, hey, we got a pile of bricks over here. You know what I mean? So we have to be really careful, man, not to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, because a lot of stuff feels based off fear right now, man. they want us scared because, you know, it's a scary time kind of, man. It's a lot of homies. I had a lot of homies that don't know when they going back to work.
Oh
There's
yeah,
no options out there for them. You know what I mean?
this is dangerous. You know, like I said, we've never been through this, and you couldn't have told us 10, 15, 20 years ago that we was going to go through a time like this, you know, having to deal with a pandemic on top of dealing with the racial situation that happened. My boy got killed. So it's a real trying time. You got to watch the setups because basically that's what happens. You get me? They put the blame on you for a reason, and everything is for a reason. So you got to be careful. And my brothers and my sisters out there who out there looting and, you know, setting it up. Yeah, you got to watch it because a lot of that is being done by other counterparts. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get blamed for it, and it will be looked upon because then the next day they're gonna show in the news how it ain't but about looting and rioting and all that when you got motherfuckers who really just about protesting and really trying to fight the change. You feel me?
Yeah, you know what the biggest thing, man? I'm not gonna lie. You know, me doing this, I deal with a lot of young people, right? I
Right.
really admire our young people today, man, because I look at them and you know our generation was turned up, right? This generation is a little bit way more turned up because they not having it. You seeing more athletes speak out. You remember the athletes back then, they would kind of just be quiet and just everybody didn't have no opinion because they were scared of, you know, rubbing somebody the wrong way. I'm seeing more and more athletes speak up on this stuff, man. It's just like, you know what, we not having it. You saw the brother Colin Kaepernick, man. He just his whole career pretty much got put to the wayside because he said this is not right, man. So I'm really cutting with them, man. And I think it's time that we do bridge that gap, man. You know, because it ain't the old and the young. It's like the elders supposed to represent wisdom. So it ain't about hating on the younger cats. You know what I mean? It's about bringing them up and kind of, you know, correct them as they go along. Because they're young, they go make mistakes, man.
Definitely.
Because I noticed, man, like I said before, going back, your music seems to transcend time almost. You know what I mean?
Right.
Transcends codes, man. It transcends times, man. With the album that you got out right now, man, like you have any features on there, like, or is it just all you? Like, tell us about it a little bit.
The official project, I got a couple of features on there. Basically, you know, I was just trying to focus more on just trying to make a good record from my standpoint and not, you know, try to flood it over with a gang of features. So the official record, I got Exhibit Problem, I got J.O. Felony, I got my boy Chill on there, my girl Cheryl, who's a vocalist. And, you know, I just wanted to make it simple and just focus on a lot of the MC Eiht at the time, not to try to overflood it with a gang of artists. Not to saying that, you know, I don't have art. I got a gang of homies, you feel me? And being in this business for a long time, you build a gang of relationships. So there's projects where, you know, like on Which Way Is West, when I dropped that, I had a gang of features. But on official, you know, I took it kind of easy because I like to show people that a nigga can kind of hold his own without having to have all the names, so to speak. But then, like I said, I'm working on a new project, and because of the love from the projects I just did or whatever, cats hit me up and they want to work and they want to collaborate. So my next project I'm dropping, you know, I got that full of features. So, but official, it's just 27 tracks, double album, or just some feel good music, you know, trying to take you back to the time of when we had good music. And it was something that, you know, we took pride in as far as lyrics and the music and what we was trying to stand for. And the fact of, you know, we were deep heavy on lyricism and, you know, being forefront with the fucking streets and the people and giving them that real, you know what I'm saying? Everything wasn't about braggadocious and I got this and I got that. So that's how I feel about it.
Man, I gotta, man, give a special shout out, man. This is my homeboy. I actually been looking for this dude, man. Spider Most Eastley. One love, my dude. One love. That's my dude, man. And he's another cat, man, right there, man, that keeps it like 100, man, with the streets, man. And I always felt like, man, we got some cats on the West Coast, man. I can't say that I felt like you had what's the word I'm looking for? Because I don't like that word blackballed a little bit.
Right.
had your gold and platinum albums, man, but it's definitely, man, I like to call them our street reporters, man, that the mainstream just don't mess with. Like, you never saw you at the Grammy Awards. Like you never won a Grammy, have you?
No.
Like, I never saw you at the Grammys and no awards like that, but yet you had these big albums, you know what I mean? So I definitely think, man, that people try to kind of suppress the real, you know what I mean?
The time I was making records, music to drive by, straight checking the Mr. Compton thing, labels didn't want to fuck with that type of shit. They wanted to capitalize on the fact that it was NWA and Easy and King T and artists like that, that was holding down the West Coast. So labels were like, yeah, I want me one of those. But as far as my run with Epic or Sony is concerned, they didn't know what the fuck to do with me. So I was basically freelance on a major label, and I didn't get a lot of the accolades that rap labels, Priority, Rap a Lot, when they touched their artists, they knew how to market them and promote them. Sony didn't know what the fuck to do with me. So I would put out records and they would just do what they did on the strength of me just being connected to the streets and making them street music, as far as being connected with people who know in their situations, because I lived it too. I grew up in the neighborhood. I went through the poverty and all that type of shit, and the police and being picked up for just standing in the neighborhood in front of the houses and just walking through or whatever, racial profile, 4 niggas in the car, we going to jail, whatever. So I lived that shit and I know what it's about. So just, I think being able to stick to that format, it put me in a place to where record labels didn't know what the fuck to do with me, period. That was just it in a nutshell. And like you said, we got a lot of artists who come from the streets and the neighborhoods, who represent where they from, who have tales from the hood, but you know what I'm saying, they can't get that situation. You get me?
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, I've seen a few of us, man, out here have those opportunities. I'm gonna go back to Spider Loc again, right?
Right.
Spider Loc don't kick bars to me, man. That was some of the most incredible stuff I ever heard, right? But I told him that what's up with that, man, is like I feel like sometimes he gets hated on because sometimes we can let the other stuff, because one thing about the West Coast brothers out here, we real, you know what I mean? It's like, we go say how we feel, and we're not too good at the whole political game and the grab ass and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So exactly. I definitely think that plays a role, man, and I think that right now, you don't really need nobody else, man. The thing is, you can do your own album. That's why, I was talking to Crazy Bone, man, because I'm kind of helping him out a little bit with his situation now. And I said, bro, you can sell your own product, man. You got a name, you got a fan base. You built this thing up over the years. You don't need nobody to kind of hold your hand. You need to be doing your own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of us come from that era where we so used to record labels and being signed to a motherfucker and not having to do anything as far as the shit. We go in the studio, we rap, another nigga do the beats, we turn the motherfucking record in and wear my check. So a lot of us had to learn how to reformat and get to the fact of the hustle. You get me? Mm-hmm. We had to get back to the fact of the mind state of the hustle, just like if we was on the block. You got to make that good product to where you can serve your good clientele and they gonna keep coming back, because if you try to give your shit to somebody else to serve, they might not serve as much as you can. Even though a nigga promoting himself like he got all the clientele and I can market you here and that, sometimes it don't work out because a nigga still can't reach your motherfucking people. So we had to learn how to go back and reflip the shit and start pushing the shit our own selves, creating our own labels, doing what we felt that would get us to that point, making the music that we want instead of what they wanted us to do. And that what I think what kind of helped us out in the long run, because a lot of brothers was able to go back to the independent board and go back to the true meaning of why they started rapping. You feel me?
Yeah, for real, man, because right now, man, it ain't no time, because when I meet the younger cats, I'm talking about, man, I met this little dude, man, that was incredible, man. I can't remember, like, Demo or something like that, But dude was 15 and my son actually hit to him. This dude 15 and rap like a grown man, right? The first thing he was telling me, like, he was like, oh man, OG, let's get, can you get us a meeting with Interscope? They wanted to go to the meetings and stuff. And I said, bro, that's played out because all you go to wind up is frustrated and mad. We can go to 50 meetings, but
exactly.
they're not with you. They're not going to do nothing with you. And even if we do happen to get a deal right, it's not going to be much. And your album probably never going to come out. I say versus us getting together, start putting you some projects and putting them out, and you actually build you a fan base and sell records. And by the time we do all that, you're not going to want to go to no major label no more because you're going to see what it is, and it's just going to be like that. What I want to do, man, is I want to go to some of these fans, man, and see some questions that they have, man. So any questions y'all got, man, shoot them out there, man. We on here, man, with the homeboy MC Eiht. I saw one that I wanted to see, man. Thad B, man, he's asking about DJ Slip. He said DJ Slip was a hell of a producer. What's up with DJ Slip, man?
Slip got a spot in Texas, and he also be working on offshore rigs overseas and all that shit. So he still be making music, but Slip was one of them beautiful mind type motherfuckers. He could do a lot of more shit than just beats and music. So he expanded his motherfucking brain, and he's out there doing what he know how to do as far as the robotics and traveling the world and doing that type of shit. So that's what my man Slip on.
Word, that's crazy, man. Shout out to Don Corleone, one love. Let me see what else we got on here, man. Let me see what. I need them questions, y'all. Come on with them. There's a lot of people giving you a lot of love in here, man. Somebody at RIP Ryder asked about the Unknown.
Unknown was a cat that when we first started rapping, Unknown was the dude who had the little street label or whatever. And so that's how we got in the game. I got introduced to Slip. Me and Chio, got introduced to Slip as Compton's Most Wanted. And we basically signed our first little bullshit deal to Unknown. He put out a 12-inch on us. But you know how that goes. Situations get sticky, hands get, pockets get filled while other people doing hard work. So we had to cut our ties with Unknown, so no bad blood, whatever. We all had to go through the shit. You all have to go through trials and tribulations when you go through this record business. I don't give a fuck who you are. You gonna go through some of that up and down shit. So you just got to learn to take the punches, man, and move on. And that's what we did. And that's what I talk about, trying to stand up for yourself and become independent, because, you can't let another motherfucker try to run your game. Only you know what's real and what's in your mind. And you should be able to know how you want to function and how you want to get your shit out to the people. You feel me?
Yeah, for real. And then we got the homeboy Eddie Allen, man. What year did you start rapping?
And I started rapping in I think 88, 89 is when I started rapping. I was a baby rapping, man. Shit. I would just sneak to the studio because the homie had turntables in his garage and a microphone. And, back then it was like the battle days, KRS, BDP, and them all shit. So we used to just go to his garage, man. And he had the turntable set up on a pool table and shit. And we would just go in the garage and make motherfucking TDK tapes and shit. And that's when I started. That was my first experience from rapping.
Oh, wow, man. So the stories, man. And me YouTube channel, he asked, whatever happened to CMW?
We still around. We just put a project out last November. We put a project called Gangster Business. It's me and Chio. The CMW was always me and Chio. You get me? Me, Chio, DJ Slip, Mike T. A lot of people confuse Mike, because on the first record cover, there was another dude, Ant, but, Ant was just partial, I guess, I don't know, they felt Ant, wasn't efficient enough. We went to junior high school when Ant was cool, he was our people's, whatever, but they decided to go with Mike T because Mike T was more if you want to say experienced as far as DJing is concerned, Mike could fuck a record up. You know, he was already a club DJ. You know, he had already done a couple of little independent projects as far as scratching and cutting and doing beats. So when my man Chill had to go sit down for a minute, Slip turned me on to Mike T because he was in another group, and then we just linked up, and then so me and him became Compton's Most Wanted on the second record.
That's dope, man. So you just answered Dre Day's question. My man Dre Day said, "Where's Mike T at?" So you just kind of answered that question.
Yeah, Mike T's still around. I talked to Mike T. You catch Mike T on Instagram. He's still doing his thing. He's still representing CMW. You know, he's selling product. He's still scratching and mixing, and he's got a little mix show, do whatever. So niggas is still around trying to stay active.
Yeah, for sure, man. And then, and this is cool, man. That's what I like about YouTube. The fans actually, I've been wanting to do something like this where the fans can actually kind of conduct the interview. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let me ask this. My boy Lance Reed, he asked, man. Oh, you know what? Let me go back. I can't skip him. My man Eddie Allen again. He said, "Did you know Eazy-E?"
Yeah, I knew Easy. I mean, shit. Easy was from Compton. I didn't know him personally until later on in the beginning, but he used to always fuck with us. He used to invite us to the videos. I mean, he put us in the We Want Easy video. Chill was in the Easier Than Said and Done radio. They shot us out on a record on the back. If you see, you'll see CMW. We would get invited to the pool parties, all that type of shit. I mean, so Easy was cool. And then later on, I was supposed to write some songs for him, but unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition because he passed away, and then I don't know, but Unknown did some kind of thing where he came to me and told me to write like 3 songs for Easy. So I was in the process of writing 3 songs so he could hear them, and then what happened. So I never got around to that. But yeah, I knew Easy. We hung out. We did shows together, especially when he was with Bone Thugs. We did a couple of shows in Cleveland together. I could remember when we first got started and they was in the game. We used to hang out at, just everybody used to see everybody in the streets, and everybody knew each other because Compton is what it is, nigga. It's a gang of neighborhoods, and it's a gang of niggas who grew up with each other and went to junior high school and elementary. So even though niggas split up and started claiming different neighborhoods and probably ended up rivals or whatever, everybody knew everybody as far as Compton was concerned in that motherfucking spectrum. You feel me?
Oh man, let me ask you this, man. Go back up here, man. Where was it at, man? This stuff be going so fast, man. Okay, Lance Reed asked, how did you get the part on Grand Theft Auto, man, as Ryder? Grand Theft Auto San Andreas as Ryder?
I got that because they were doing the Rockstar game, and then I had a song. I guess they used one of my songs in the first game. So from that, they contacted me. My man Pooh, shout out to DJ Pooh, told me they wanted to fuck with me. So I got in touch with them. They hit me up and told me what they were doing as far as the game is concerned. So they flew me out to New York, and I got to watch the video game play itself out. And they told me their idea of wanting me to do voiceovers for one of the characters. And I said, fuck it. I was able to sit there and watch the video game as it played out, and then do my voiceovers to certain parts in the video game. So it's just like working on a movie when you going in and you got to redo your lines and all that shit. So it was a pretty cool experience because that game is the shit. Everybody love it. I myself never played it, but everybody.
Ryder wound up turning on some people in the game, man.
Yeah, I did it. It was a good thing though. I think I was in New York for 3 days, you know. Shout out to Rockstar, you know, good people. Shout out to DJ Pooh for hooking me up with Rockstar, you know what I'm saying? So it was a good experience. One more thing that I can say I participated in for the, you know, for the love of hip hop. You feel me?
All right, man. This seems like this is a popular question right here, man. It's people asking about an NOTR album that they've been waiting on since 1996. There's a couple people asking, man, what's up with NOTR, man? H, you know
Niggas
the people, man?
Niggas on the Run was a group that I put together with Chill and Boom Bam. And I had got a production deal through Atlantic Big Beat Records at the time. So I was working on an NOTR record, I was working on a Lil Hawk and Bird record, and then I was supposed to work on my solo record. And unfortunately, uh it was during the time where, you know, Ice-T was with cop doing the cop killers thing, and you know, NWA was with the, you know, the bitch is a bitch thing, and everything was bitch and fuck you and hard shit and death row with, you know, and all the animosity. The labels didn't want to put out they didn't want to associate themselves with no hardcore shit.
You
So
still have music from that project?
yeah, I still got music from the NOTR project. I
Man,
mean, you could
you might want to put that out independently, man. This is like the people want that.
yeah, I mean, NOTR was a popular. I mean, it was a good record. I mean, you could pull up YouTube. You can go on YouTube right now, probably pull up about 2 or 3 songs from the project from back then. So it was something that I tried to put together. You know, as far as the homies concerned. You know, as far as Chill, who had just touched back down, and the homie Bam, who was from my neighborhood. So I just tried to connect them together and get them a deal through Atlantic and put out their record. So we called the group Niggas on the Run, NOTR.
Well, that's hard, man. And I knew this was gonna come sooner than later, man. People want to know what's the possibility of you and another Compton resident, man, getting together, DJ Quick and doing a project.
I mean, as far as a full project, I have no idea. You know, I know Quick is busy. I've been doing a lot of shit with my label, Blue Stamp, but I did get on the Rosecrans project. I did 2 songs on the Rosecrans project with him and Problem. So from there, you know, whatever comes into, or if it ever turns about, you know, I'm not against working with any motherfucker. I'm for whatever is gonna be for the pure love of this thing we call motherfucking hip hop music. So I'm for anything that's motherfucking makes sense. You feel me?
And, you know, and the way it come, man, the way this internet is, it might come out of this. You know, Quick might see this and be like, hey, man, let's do it. You know, they got some good questions, man. Live
Yeah,
link. Live.
me and Quick is pretty cool. You know, like I said, I try to not have no beef with nobody in this industry. I mean, this motherfucker is so vast and it's so big, and just for it to be here in this time, you know,
Mhm.
I try to keep my shit. I try to keep my shit front line. Like I said, I speak on Tales from the Hood and aggression and all that bullshit. And you might say, you know, I'm on that type of whatever, but anything for the love of hip hop, I am. I can. You're supposed to be able to adapt to any kind of music, so I try to be cool with all kind of artists. You know, whether I got an opinion, I should be able to voice my opinion about shit that I think is not what it is or whatever. But I just try to keep to myself on it and do what I do, not get in nobody else lane. They don't get in mine, and we gonna keep pushing. You feel me?
All right. And then I got another question. This is a good question, man. Y'all actually coming with some good questions today. We got some hip hop heads in there. Live Link wants to know, how did you get down with Dub C and the Mad Circle? You don't work, you don't eat. How did that formulate?
Again, just being neighborhood niggas. I used to hang in Dub neighborhood all the time because I used to, you know, deal with somebody over there. So I used to be in this motherfucking neighborhood all the time. I used to see him, and again, we all started in that same era. You know, I started with Compton's Most Wanted. Dub was with Low Profile, him and DJ Atlanta, Latin. You know, King T, my nigga King T was with Pooh. Cube and them was over there. Easy was over there. You know, we had a lot of motherfuckers, and we had basically just mutual respect from niggas throughout the neighborhoods as far as trying to get yours as far as this rap thing is concerned. So I knew Dub. I knew where they work. You know, I was a fan. So just all he had to do was hit me and say, get on the song. And I was like, no problem. I mean, shit. That's what I do for motherfuckers when you had that connection and you had that motherfucking, you had that bond with niggas in the business, you know. Niggas become more than just motherfucking you know, running mates or motherfucking teammates or, you know, competition. It becomes more than that. You know, niggas become homies and real friends. So niggas ask me to get down on shit, I get down.
You know what's crazy about you saying that, man? You got a son to play football. I got a son to play football at USC. Dub got a little son to play football. So Dub is the homie. Like I talk to Dub all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
that was me and Dub be conversating all the time about the motherfucking football. Uh, he would hit me because you know he was out there with his boy and they team, and he would hit me on my weekends and ask me who we was playing this weekend. I hit him and asked him who they was playing because we both had kids in the youth ball, so that's what we was getting down with. And you really have a connection when it's passed beyond. Like I said, we did a couple of records together. When we could speak on our kids and activities and their accomplishments and what they've been doing, it kind of puts you in a different place with a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
And then a lot of these cats, man, that's what I tell the fans, man. All of the gangster rappers, man, that's out here is actually really good fathers and really good men. They cool people. Like Dub is one of the coolest brothers it is, man. Every time I talk to Dub, he say, "What up, Steel? What up?" You know, Dub got that little voice, man. What up, Steel? You know, that's
Exactly.
man. And I'm actually trying to get Dub, you know, Dub Adonis, so I've been trying to get him to come on. Still, I don't mess with that YouTube stuff. I said, man, the people want to hear about you, so hopefully we make that happen. And let
For
me see,
sure.
man.
I'm gonna have to reach out to Dub too, see if we can get him on the show cracking.
Oh, you know what, man? My boy, Devin Richards. Yeah, that'll be a good interview, and we gonna go into that right now. This gonna be I'm answering two more questions. Devin Richards asked, "Did MC Eiht ever do a collaboration with Tupac or Nipsey Hussle?"
I never did a collab with Nip, which was unfortunate on my part because I would have loved to got down. And I kind of did a collaboration with Tupac because we all got on a song for South Central Cartel on called the Gangster Team. So that was me, Ice-T, Tupac, uh, South Central Cartel. So it was like a group project, but Pac was on that song. So I used to do a lot of shows with Pac too. I toured a couple of times. We ran into each other on the road. He was a good nigga. Never gave me any problems. He used to listen to my music when he was locked up. He told me that several times, you know. So I always had respect and love for Tupac because he was one of the real niggas.
That's dope, man. And this will be the last question we ask before we go into the next one. I actually got a, you know what? Eddie Allen keeps asking about your hat, man. Eddie Allen keeps saying, man, where does your hat come from and what do the letters stand for? Like,
The letters stand for Streetwise. That's a clothing company out here in LA. I've been fucking with Streetwise for a while. You know, they sponsor me shit when I do videos, photo shoots, when I go on tour like that. So yeah, man, this is it's for Streetwise clothing wear, man. So look that up, man. Good company, good minority owned company. My SA partners, you know, real good people.
yeah, let me, I'm going to give them one more. You tell them there's two more questions. They keep coming with more and more, man. Lil Wayne, and I think I know the answer to this question. Say, hey, your people from Mississippi. Somebody said you got some people from Mississippi.
Yeah, my mother's from Gulfport, Mississippi. I used to do summer vacations in Mississippi all the fucking time until I got old enough and said, I'm not going down there no more. Fucking bugs and mosquitoes biting you up, and it'd be hot as a motherfucker. But my mom is from Gulfport, Mississippi, so I got deep roots in Mississippi, especially Gulfport. Shout out all my people from the MISS.
That's crazy, man. So, hey, a lot of people, man, you know, it's cool that we got you on here now, man, because there's a lot of big stuff going on with you, man. You actually about to start your own things. I saw you, like every interview you do does really well, by the way. You got a podcast coming out like soon, man, sooner than what you think, man. Tell us about your podcast, man.
Man, I got I got the podcast Stash by Radio. We trying to get that cracking right now. Shout out Digital Soapbox. Um, we got the podcast. We trying to touch on everything from shit like what's happening right now to the real marijuana culture and the laws and all that. We trying to deal with the, what's real in hip hop music, about loyalty, longevity, how you feel about lyricism and all that. And we also gonna be dealing with, rappers with health, health insurance. Do we got health insurance? Do niggas think about shit like that? On top of, just trying to keep it real with the people in the streets, So my podcast gonna deal with all that. It's called Stash by Radio.
It's Stash by Radio, and also, man, I know we got some different stuff going on with the Gangsta Chronicles brand right now, and it's gonna be it's a lot of stuff going on with that show. A lot of positive stuff, like we got a thing, man. We've been talking about to some people for the past 4 months, man. So I can't really put it out there yet, but there's some stuff that's some television type stuff going on right now, and I kind of say that news, and we gonna start.
Man, we gonna get this. We like you said, we try to keep it on the low. But Gangsta Chronicles is finna go in a new good direction. Not just saying it wasn't going in a good direction because it's like a real popular show. Everybody's been on it. So we got some things cracking with Gangsta Chronicles too. So we're gonna try to take it to the next level and keep giving you that authentic shit that you've been loving to tune into for that podcast. So just stay tuned, man. It's a lot of good shit in the works.
Yeah, man. That's what it's a lot of good stuff going on, man. I just can't say nothing about it because as soon as you put something out in the universe, it's 50 people out there praying for you, man. They're praying for you.
I've learned that myself. You know what I'm saying? Keep it under wraps until it come into play. Other than that, man, just keep your mouth quiet, be humble, and situations turn out better that way than going around and just putting your foot in your mouth and bragging about shit and saying this.
Yeah, man. And I never brag because it's a lot of just even with this network, man, just from the scene going from Glasses Malone's, like we used to do our podcasting, man. Shout out to my homeboy Glasses Malone. We used to do podcasts out of his loft in downtown LA, man. And it was crazy just to see us go from there, man, to the studio we was at, to a mansion out in Beverly Hills. And of course, we're not doing that interview right here because I still like to go to the essence. And that's what people don't understand, man. I am a fan of hip hop. You know what I mean? That's why I like doing stuff like this. It just so happened that I could hit rappers up that I, know and respect and talk to them. So that's what it is, man. But I appreciate you coming on today, man.
Anytime, man. You know how we get it in still. We got to represent. All my brothers out there, all my sisters, y'all be careful. Y'all know what it is, man. We still in these trying times. So be careful, man. Protest, do what you got to do. Let motherfuckers know you ain't taking it no more, but watch yourself and be careful. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we do. Official.
Yeah, you know what? Let me get one more question. I feel bad because like I said, I'm a fan, and I feel bad because I used to be the dude when I was a kid at the concerts and stuff, being the last one getting the autograph, and they
exactly.
So I'm gonna answer this homeboy's question, man. We gonna answer. Respect the player that doesn't pimp. What happened to the album Straight Outta Cali?
And it was Straight Outta Cali?
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you, my nigga. Like I said, sometimes shit just happened to where sometimes projects, they get talked about and they get worked on, and then next thing you know, you don't hear about them no more. So that's just the L's of the record business. You get me? And that's just something we was just talking about right now. Sometimes when you leap before you can walk, man, it kind of makes you fuck up. So sometimes you just got to keep shit under wraps and wait till it comes into play. So
I don't learn not to talk about nothing. We got so much stuff on the table right now. I learned until it happens, and even when you get the paperwork signed and you might get a check, I don't say nothing until it's actually, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'll let somebody else speak on it until it happens, man. But man, I appreciate you. I ain't gonna take no more time, man. No more of your time, man. Much love, and I appreciate you, brother.
All right, man. You stay up, Phil. Holla at you.
So stay up. I'm on you. One.
Yeah.